Thank you for joining us for another video. Today we're going to be looking at the Department of Higher Education and Training report function that we have in the system. And this is mainly being able to export the data that is consolidated for a given period. Now, if you've worked in Student Manager before, you'll know that there's a report, active student qualifications by date range. So this is basically who was registered during the year. Now, in Student Manager, it's not who was active in a qualification. That's not what we're basing this report extract on. We classify someone who's registered as being active in a module. So if I applied to the institution and I got entry into the program, but I never registered for any modules during that period, this report won't take that into account in terms of saying, oh, the student was active. So just be aware of that. Another thing is the module data that comes out is based on students' module results lifting by qualifications, but what we are excluding is where a student has withdrawn. So if a student withdraws from a module, it means they're not active in the module. So in Student Manager, you're withdrawing someone because they're not active, and you're not going to use any marks or anything for that student. So that's what withdrawn means. So because withdrawn is as if they were never in the module and you're not ever going to take that information into account, those modules are by default excluded. So you could actually rebuild our extract by doing active student qualifications and report for the period. And if you wanted to, you could then do the results listing by qualifications, which will then include withdrawn modules. So the logic, just so that you know, is students registered in modules for the reporting period and all student module results except for withdrawn modules. All right, so that's the data that we've consolidated. So to access it, obviously you need to have the correct rights. You go into more. We have DHET Census, and then you choose the period. So I've just left it as this broad, so I could see any reports from any years. And when you trigger it, you see that there's no extract reports available. The first thing we have here is, please note, a census has been started. It can take 15 to 30 minutes to complete. The larger your institution, the longer it will take, and the process will continue in the background. What does this mean? So when you create one of these extracts, so let's say that I want to do a 2019 report, for example, and I say that it is at this stage in January. So basically it's everything that happened in 2019. Obviously, when you do these dates, you need to take into account when your final marks are released to get your overlaps correct. Your final marks are released for your subs and special exams and stuff like that. So you need to play with it a bit to get the right data. That's why I said you can start by using the active student qualifications by date range and see when you get the right dates from that. Then you'll be able to get the right dates from this. So that is my date range that I'm concerned about that year. And then I know all my students are registered in the year by, let's say, by the end of March, the students who are registered are registered. I don't have multiple intakes in the year. So I know that by March, that's a solid idea of how many students I have in the year, because nobody is going to be added in extra after that period. So that's why I'm choosing that date as my census date. If you want clarity on what the term census means, you can refer to, I don't know what the coding for that file is, but there's a data extract. The example that they have for census day in your guide for filling in the DHET report. That's what we're referring to as a census date. So that's the census day. Right, so I'm going to do this and I'm going to trigger it. Okay, so the second I've triggered it, you can see this data takes time to complete. It'll run in the background. Click on close to exit the screen. When the process is complete, a tick will appear on the table. So what does this mean? I'm going to close this and it will redirect me to the census page once it reloads. And what I'm able to then do is, this one was quick because I created a fake batch of students, but this is what it's saying. This tick will only appear once the data is processed. So yours could take, I've obviously got a meticulously put together set of students and just a couple of modules data. So this was pretty quick, but in general, yours are can take up to 30 minutes to complete. So what it means is when you run this, you wait for that, you can keep coming in and refreshing, and then you will see once it has a tick, it means the data is ready. So in the next video, we'll go into what the data actually has and shows so that you're clear on what it is and what you can expect in terms of the extract.